This feels wrong.
It's not honest.
It's not honest. It's insulting our intelligence.
Yes.
Our intelligence has already been battered to death.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Bachelor recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Doing good.
Really?
Up in the mountains.
Is it because you're well rested? Oh, yeah, mountains.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. We are in Whistler.
We're in Whistler, and this is I think this is a fun place to record.
This is very fun.
Our view, we have mountains.
Yeah.
You just have to take our word for it. But it's pretty beautiful outside.
It is. Skiing. We did one day of skiing.
Yes, we meant to do two, and then
we bailed. Couldn't do it. You know what? This is what I'll say about skiing. I like skiing. Mm-hmm. No question. Of all the things in the world that I have a feeling about, I know I like skiing. Uh-huh. But what I don't really like is the prep for skiing, the cost of skiing, the struggle, the physical torment of getting ready, carrying those boots, wearing those boots, the whole thing.
Yes.
And I'm starting to think at this age that the cost-benefit analysis is slowly shifting in the favor of maybe less skiing.
Oh.
Man, I'm sad about that. Because when I was a kid, I used to most literally have dreams about skiing.
Yeah.
And I would be delighted. I'd wake up and I'd be like,
because you didn't do any of the work. You didn't do the work. Someone else was doing up those boots for you. My dad used to attach the boots onto my feet for me.
If now I was treated like a baby, like someone put my coat on, buttoned me up, put my boots on, carried me.
Bought your lift ticket.
Bought my lift ticket.
Drove you to the gondola.
Got me food in the middle of the day.
Yes.
Yeah. Carried me.
Bought you beaver tails. You didn't have to wait in the line for the beaver tails.
Yeah. All these things, if that happened, I would absolutely love skiing.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, so I still snowboard. I'm starting to wonder if I need to transition back to skiing.
Oh, well, that's
I think we had a bad day. Okay.
No, it wasn't a bad day. I actually enjoyed the skiing.
I mean, it was like a rough conditions day.
It was rough. It was thick.
Yes.
Heavy,
as Andy put it, the snow felt like mashed potatoes. Yeah. And like at the end of every run, we were like, and we hadn't been in a year, so we thought it was us. But it turns out we spoke to other people. Everyone was exhausted.
Bad visibility, thick snow. But in the end, skiing is great, but the amount of effort is slowly becoming an issue.
Okay. Shanty's, let us know if you agree with us on skiing. And do we have any other housekeeping for this fantasy suite?
I think we're good.
Episode, Andy. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's get going. I thought you were going to say you were well rested because you had a hard time staying awake through this episode again.
There was not a lot of fantasy in this suite.
There's also not a lot of Carolina.
Not a lot of Carolina.
Yeah. I gotta say, it makes a difference.
Makes a difference.
It makes it, whether you love her or hate her, you have to admit, an episode with Carolina in it is a little more interesting. And people took issue with Carolina saying it was the Carolina show, but I mean...
It was the Carolina show.
Yeah.
What is it now? Whose show is it? Who's the captain of this ship?
You're right. Okay, so we are in the Dominican Republic, which we learn is meaningful to Grant because he is part Dominican.
Oh, didn't know that.
I did not know that.
That makes a lot of sense now.
I feel like...
He speaks Spanish. It sounds like he speaks Spanish, right? Seems like it. He speaks with a good accent. I don't know. What do I know?
I wouldn't know on the Spanish accent, but I get the impression he's not that fluent in Spanish.
I think he knows how to say a few words, but that's it.
Wait, what did he say? He was like, I have love.
Yeah. Yo tengo amor.
Oh.
So I can do it too. I can do a Grant. I'll tell you something about Dominican Republic.
What?
Interesting fact. More than 10% of all the Major League Baseball players in the United States come from Dominican Republic.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane. More than 10%.
Wait, how is that a random fact you know?
I just know, but I know I was a baseball fan, big baseball fan for most of my life.
Is it actually more than 10%, or are you just saying
No, I'm 100% sure. It's at very least 10%.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there are over 100 like regular Dominican players in the Major League Baseball.
Wow, that's really cool. What a fun fact, Andy. Yeah. Okay, so in chatting with Jesse, Grant says that it's getting down to the final wire.
The final wire. It's the final wire.
Juliana now chats with Daisy. Okay, so the powers that be flew out some major players from past seasons to make an appearance. And the gist here is that Juliana is struggling with trust. She's been cheated on so much in the past. And Daisy's advice is basically to open up. I mean, what are they going to say? Don't? Like, if you think about it, Daisy and who's the other person who came. Rachel, what are they going to tell them? To not open up? Even though
don't open up.
Technically,
shut it down.
Even though they were both technically heartbroken.
Yeah, not sure that's the best advice to take.
I suppose the takeaway is, even if you open up and get heartbroken, you will not regret it because you committed.
I mean, why is he taking advice? What did Rachel went home like? She was like,
my favorite actually, when Zoe's like, Rachel's great to talk to because she also had the least amount of time.
no, wait, it's like asking advice from a boxer who got knocked out in the first round.
It's so true. Okay, so yeah, Daisy's advice is to open up. You won't have regrets. And Juliana said, there's other woman here.
Oh, there is.
Juliana is not the only cast offender here, by the way.
Offenders.
I mean, Grant, we know he's the king of the using women as women. But I think also Allie Joe did it a lot.
When a man loves a woman.
Okay, so Juliana on her overnight date now, they go four-wheeling through some mud, and there's some emphasis here on Juliana's self-consciousness over her looks. And we'll circle back to this, but basically she's like, the real test is if you're still going to like what you see after this. After this mask thing. Okay. We learn that Grant's grandmother recently passed away.
Oh, that's sad.
I think
she was Dominican.
Yes, and I think we might have gotten like an in memoriam thing or at some point.
Oh no,
am I wrong?
Didn't see that. No.
Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Also, she was a very esteemed player in the MLB.
Ah, what does MLB stand for?
Sorry, it's probably inappropriate. Major League Baseball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know,
that was an inappropriate joke.
Is MLB really that much easier to say than Major League Baseball?
Major League Baseball. That's 5. Yeah. MLB is 3. You save 40%.
All I'm saying is that Major League Baseball rolls off the tongue nicely, while MLB is like, it's kind of...
If you're in the know, MLB is way better.
So should I be really embarrassed that I didn't know what that was?
No. You should. You're Canadian. Although Canada does have 1.5 good baseball teams.
Okay.
Yeah, the Expos and the Toronto Blue Jays. I think the Expos are now a different name. God, I've been out of the baseball game for a long time. I don't even know. I think the Montreal Expos changed their name. Okay. I think.
The Montreal Expos?
Montreal Expos. The Expos.
Okay, so Juliana is touched to hear how much the Dominican Republic means to Grant, but basically the main talking point here is that it's hard for her. She's having trust issues. And in the evening now, Grant says, if Juliana is willing to talk, I'm willing to listen. Oh, Juliana says she tends to laugh when she wants to scream or cry, which I can picture.
Yeah.
Juliana is... I want her to like shake it off. Did I say this earlier about her or someone else? I think it was about someone else. But I want her to like, let it go. Like she's a little too like this all the time. And I think she's like that in life. I don't mean on TV. Like even when he says something, she's like, I feel like she is always trying to be pleasing to other people.
Yeah.
And I think her being concerned about her hair or her makeup is a reflection of that. You know, she's who cares if your makeup is running or your hair is frizzy? Like, okay, maybe you're on TV. I get it a little bit. But it's also like, who cares? Everyone gets a frizzy hair day.
She's lacking some confidence.
Yes, she is. Yeah. And I think it's really sweet, actually, how Grant brings this up. He mentions the hair moment, how she doesn't have to be perfect. When she doesn't feel beautiful, he's going to remind her that she is. And while that might seem a little like, it could seem trite, but... After watching this episode, while I was my show that I like to fall asleep to right now is
Singles Inferno.
Yeah, Singles Inferno. And there was an episode. If anyone's watching Singles Inferno, let me know if you know what I'm talking about. There was a scene where the girl, so they've gone on a date before to Paradise, and she normally wears her hair down, and today she's got it in a big like fluffy ponytail. And she gets in the car and she's like, "Do you think I should wear my hair up or down? Like, do you like it better up or down?" He was like, "Oh, up totally changes your look. I prefer it down."
Oh.
And then she takes it out and like smooths her hair down. And I was like,
rough scene in Korea.
Excuse me. No, wear your hair up. It looks great. She was wearing a strapless jumpsuit. It looks great up. Like, who cares if he prefers it down? Anyway, my point being, Grant suddenly looked a lot shinier after that scene.
He did. He rescued her.
He did. And I think it's sweet. I think Juliana needs someone like that.
Yeah,
Who, again, it might seem like kind of trite, but I do think for her, it would mean a lot. Juliana says she was cheated on over and over by a guy. And let me know if I misheard this. Did she say the person he cheated on her with was another person she had given an arm and a leg to?
I think she did, but I don't think we'll ever know because we listened to it like 4 times, couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it was.
I couldn't figure out whether she was saying that the guy who cheated, she had given an arm and a leg to. And so therefore it was like...
Either one is bad.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter. It's betrayal, both sides.
Totally. But if he cheated on her with someone she knows...
Oh, that's bad.
Someone she's
really
close
bad.
to. I think that that's the most evil thing someone can do.
Yes. Well, I mean, within the romance sphere.
Yeah. I mean, it's already bad to cheat on someone, but to cheat on them with someone that they're close with, like that.
Rough.
Juliana cries, says she's a little broken. She's working to fix herself. Grant is showing up for her in ways that she has missed out on. He means a lot to her. It's scary. And Grant cries.
No.
I mean, one thing I cannot take away from Grant is his sincerity.
He knows how to cry. He cries. The man cries.
Yes, and it's very touching. He says that's what love is for. It fixes you. And he says where someone else screwed up in cheating on her, he sees treasure. He gives her the fantasy suite card. And she says it's a no-brainer, which is exactly the response I would have expected from her because I feel like their physical je ne sais quoi is kind of their thing.
Yeah. Call this whole season a no-brainer.
And now it's the next morning. Juliana says a lot of her questions were answered. And,
yeah? Which ones?
She says...
It didn't seem like the questions that we thought may be answered in the fantasy suite were answered. I didn't get that feeling.
Wait, what question?
Meaning I get the feeling that they didn't get it on. I don't feel they did.
Juliana?
I don't think they did. I got that feeling.
You're joking.
I am not joking.
Wait, are you being sarcastic right now?
I am not being sarcastic. This is my serious face. Can you not tell?
Wait, I can't tell whether you're being
I'm
serious.
serious. I don't think they got it on.
Wait, how is that possible?
I don't think they did. I didn't get the feeling. I get a feeling in the fantasy suites. I didn't get that feeling.
Okay, so what you think they just...
I don't think he got on with anybody. I don't think anything happened. There was a little fooling around. There was probably some, like maybe second base, maybe veering into third base, but I don't think there was a full fantasy suite for anybody.
Okay, so I'm torn between agreeing with you. Like, I have to admit the energy in the morning with her and she was wearing like her little silk pajamas and they were having their nice breakfast outside. While it looked perfect and they had, a sort of conversation where we learned nothing new, it did not feel post-coital.
No.
However, what I see between Juliana and Grant is so physical, so sexual.
Which is why I was surprised.
And she said no brainer. And she's, she doesn't seem to have the issues that, for example, Litia is having.
Yes.
So I
think it was
the issues, well, how should I word that so it doesn't sound, sounded bad.
Is it an issue?
She doesn't have a concern.
Litia's issue is that she will not have sex on this show. And that's understandable from her religious perspective.
Yeah. And I just don't feel like Juliana is constrained by the same beliefs.
However, I don't know what's going on in Juliana's head. All I know is that if I had to put money on it, I would say that Juliana was probably game, and I think Grant said no. That's what I think.
Really?
I think Grant has made a decision that there's going to be no sex in the fantasy suites. I have a hunch. I don't know why I think this, but I did not get the feeling those two people reached another level of intimacy from before the fantasy suite to the next morning. That's
Is it possible that they did... I feel weird. Like, do they have sex? If it's possible they had sex and this happened, but it feels weird. But we're all watching the show. We all know what's going on. They're called fantasy suites. But is it possible that they did consummate their relationship? And this is just how they are the next morning. It doesn't have to be this new level of intimacy that they reach. This is just how they are.
That's why I'm saying it's a hunch. I don't know. Okay. I have no idea. I have some idea.
Okay.
But based on purely circumstantial evidence, I think there's a reasonable chance they did.
Yeah.
But I would put my money on no.
Okay.
For nobody.
Shandy's, let us know if you agree with Andy's hot take. Maybe it's possible Grant just doesn't have post-coital
energy
vibes the morning after.
I mean, it's all possible. I'm just gun to my head, no sex.
Okay. There's a funny moment where Juliana says, "Don't forget about me." And Grant says, "Don't forget about me." And she's like, ha 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 ha. She thought she thought that was very funny.
Yeah,
okay, so we're moving on to Zoe now. I confess, and I think Zoe is absolutely stunning. Yeah. But when I saw her walking down the beach, I was like, ugh. And it's not that I don't like her. I think she's beautiful. It's just like
why is she still here?
Why is she still here?
Why is she here? Why do we have to do this?
Yeah, it was already tedious with Juliana, who I felt is like going possibly
actually
winning.
Maybe,
yeah. Meanwhile, Zoe, I was like, oh no, we have to do this all over again.
Why put Zoe through this even?
Yeah. At the end of the episode, I swear there was relief.
Yes.
She looked relieved.
I agree.
She cried, but it was more like, oh.
It was like, this experience is over. I'm going to miss the experience.
Yes.
I'm going to miss this whole thing.
Yes.
And I don't know if she's going to miss Grant.
Yeah, they connected. That we were constantly being convinced of how similar they are. Their upbringings. They think the same way. But man, this was a stretch. This whole thing was a stretch. Bringing in Rachel to talk to her was also a stretch.
Yeah, what was that? That was almost an insult to injury. It was like, oh, here's another loser for you to talk to. I mean, loser in the show, not in life.
Yeah.
Rachel's a sweet woman.
Literally, the reason Rachel was chosen for her is because she also got the least amount of time. Yeah. And she also left in this same episode.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's not give it too much time.
And Zoe asks Rachel, how were you feeling by the time you got to this point? And Andy, you said, what does it matter? So Rachel gives Zoe a pep talk about how amazing Zoe is, who she just met, by the way.
Yeah.
And now we're on to Zoe's overnight date. They have silent yoga. So they enter an area where it says silencio.
Silencio. Yeah.
Silencio?
Silencio.
It's
That's
not
right.
Silencio.
Silencio. Actually, I think it might be Silencio.
Oh, really?
In Barcelona.
Oh.
Not in Mexico.
Oh.
In Mexico, it's Silencio. In Barcelona, it's Silencio.
Yeah, we thought it was ridiculous that the one girl who hasn't had her own date is now doing an activity where they don't talk. If I were her, I'd be insulted.
Is this a joke? Is this an
it's
inside
insulting.
joke? Yeah.
How is this not insulting? If I were her, I'd be like...
Yeah. Finally, my chance to talk. Can't talk.
If I were her, I'd be like, okay, like, let me out of here. Like, we have, how dare you?
No.
How dare you? don't even give me a date and now you're going to make me just not talk?
It's pretty funny.
It's insulting.
It's actually pretty funny.
It's like
if you were a jerk, it's funny.
It's suggesting that she's meant to be seen and not heard.
Yeah, kind of.
How else am I supposed to unpack that?
I don't know. I mean, it's this weird choice.
Grant says, we have to be connected without saying anything. And Andy, you said, they haven't said anything all season. They're supposed to be silent, yet Grant seems to whisper through this, which I thought he shouldn't have done.
Yes, breaking the rules.
Matter of respect. You follow the sign.
Respect the yoga.
And the gist is they get into a groove here and connect without words.
Fast-growing trees, slow-growing trees are for suckers and dweebs.
Dweebs.
I rhyme dweebs with trees.
Ah, dweebs. I haven't heard dweebs in a while, Andy.
Dweebs is a good word.
It is a great word.
Let's talk about fast-growing trees.
Yes.com. What a great name. Fast-growing trees. That really says it all. Fast. Who doesn't want a tree that doesn't grow fast? But by the way, the biggest online nursery in the US. You can search based on your zip code. So they only show you plants that would actually succeed where you live. And this is major. Why would you shop for a tree that is not going to survive in your climate?
It's the most polite way for them to say, you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
Let us take care of you.
Yes. Help us help you.
And don't forget their Alive and Thrive guarantee,
which ensures that your plant arrives happy and healthy. Plus, you can also talk with their plant experts.
All I can say is the proof's in the pudding, and the pictures I show the Shandys of my cherry tree this spring are going to shut their mouths. I don't know why that was a negative thing. You're sorry.
So this spring, Fast Growing Trees has the best deals for your yard, up to 50% off select plants and other deals.
And our Shandys get 15% off their first purchase when using code Shandy at checkout.
That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com when using code Shandy.
Fastgrowingtrees.com, code Shandy.
Now's the perfect time to plant. Use Shandy to save today.
Offers valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply.
So Andy, we all have wardrobes. We all wear clothes, right? Clothes to express ourselves, clothes for functionality, clothes that we want to fit right. And sometimes you want a basic that is not crappy, but also that has a little style. And that's why I love Quince.
Yeah.
I'm wearing their pants right now. They're pleated pants. They go with everything, by the way.
They really put the war in wardrobe.
So Quince has taken the fashion world by storm with their high quality wardrobe essentials that do not break the bank. And this is a unique combination. You know, we all live in a fast fashion time. And I think Quince is here to solve many problems all at once. First of all, they only partner with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. So right there, that's a big one ticked off the list.
Huge.
Second of all, they partner directly with the factories and take out the middleman. So that little label that you usually spend a lot of upcharge on, why are you spending all that money on that label? Quince, meanwhile, they have 100% Mongolian cashmeres for $50. Usually cashmere, you're never spending less than $100 on cashmere typically. And all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than you would typically pay for items of this quality, this style. How nice is that? And it's ethical.
Who doesn't like a good ethical deal?
No one.
So give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince.
Go to quince.com/Shandy to get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/Shandy for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/Shandy. Okay, so now in the evening, Grant somehow keeps defending the fact that Zoe didn't get a one-on-one. Ugh. I feel bad for him that he has to do this.
Yeah, he's forced to this charade he's forced into. I don't know. It's ridiculous. How is this good TV? Who wants to watch him explain to her why he didn't give her a one-on-one?
Yeah, because he didn't give her a one-on-one date. So now that he has to continue to explain why and say that actually it was for the best and only to then send her home.
Right. The cover-up's worse than the crime.
Yeah.
Just accept. I didn't give you one-on-one, but at the time, I don't know.
Well, because at the time it was going to be Carolina and Alex. Yeah. Clearly.
I was going to do it Carolina. Now you're just here as a place marker. Yeah. And I don't know what to tell you. We're going to go to the fantasy suite. Nothing's going to happen. Have a little chat. And you're going to leave. And that's how it's going to go down. And I'm sorry, but it's not my choice. This is the job I've chosen.
Alex and Carolina were so clearly supposed to be in the Final Four.
I don't know what happened.
And this is not a bias, by the way. I just think based on chemistry alone and the fact that he actually gave them dates and he was really into them. Okay. We'll move on. We learned their favorite colors. And it turns out Zoe's favorite color is teal. I have never met a person whose favorite color is teal before, but I respect it.
Man, teal. It's a good color.
So that's an off the beaten path favorite color. Mm-hmm. Zoe says she still doesn't know much about him, so he tells her about his upbringing, how dinner in his family will be eaten as a family.
I agree.
He has his wife and children that he's looking for. What he really wants, he says, is a wife. And I think that this is why Grant was cast. We were talking about this morning, actually, while we were setting up in this unique space. We were talking about Grant. We talk about Grant a lot, honestly. We talk about the casting choice of Grant and whether or not he enjoyed this process. But I really think that Grant, his big selling point to the powers that be was his unbelievably sincere intentions.
Yeah.
I think he genuinely wants a wife out of this. And I think that there's a high potential for success, like with whomever he chooses, unless maybe they watch the season back and they're like, you didn't know it was me until the 11th hour.
I mean, they put a little too much weight on sincerity. I agree.
I think so. And there's not enough on, we don't have to go there anymore, but everyone knows how we feel about it. Okay, so Grant gives her the fantasy suite card. She says yes. And now the next morning they have a picnic on the beach. And this scene was just, speaking of painful. He says, how do you feel? And she says, I feel good. How do you feel?
Did he say good?
It might have been reversed. Who asked the question? Who said the answer?
But they both said good. Good conversation.
Good conversation. Nothing is said. Nothing's going on here. Like, how is this television?
They said more. Can I tell you something? This is what I'm going to tell you right now. Is this not a joke? They said more during the silent yoga than they did the whole rest of the episode.
Oh my God. Maybe they chose the silent yoga for Zoe on purpose.
Yeah. Maybe they thought it would bring out actual meaningful conversation when they're not allowed to talk.
I hate, okay, can I confess something? While we were watching this, I was like, we could be watching Temptation Island right now. That's literally what I thought. Because we've been, trying to take some time off, clearly, after a very stressful few weeks. And I keep hearing about how good Temptation Island is, and are we going to recap it? And we just haven't had time to even start it. We've thought about it, but that's all I could think. I was like, we could be watching and recapping Temptation Island right now. Like, well, what is this? Is this television? I'm watching acting. This is acting. He's not into her. She's not into him. Why couldn't he just send both home last week, have longer dates with Juliana? Why are we so confined by this stupid structure where it has to go from 3 to 2? If he has nothing with one of those 3, then why are we watching them pretend? Why are we watching him sell their relationship to her only for him to pull out the rug from under her? This feels so dated. I'm so over this shit.
Wow, you're really fired up.
I really am. I was watching this and I was pissed. I feel the same way about this that I felt, was it Women Tell? No, it was the week before that, where it was Hometowns, where we said it was like the death knell for the franchise. Like, we're upset because I have a soft spot for this franchise. Like, I don't want to be any more embarrassed by the fact that I went on this show a million years ago than I already am. Well, and right now I'm feeling like embarrassed.
Well, it's like you come home after a long vacation to your house and you walk in and there's another family living there.
Okay, can you explain that?
Well, no, they've taken care of the house. They haven't vandalized anything. Everything's in good working order.
Yeah.
And most likely through legal processes, you're going to be able to get them out of there.
Yeah.
But you're like, this is my home. What are you doing? This is my home.
Yeah.
I don't want you in here.
Okay.
Get out of my house.
And maybe
I feel like our home has been violated. This season is stepping on a long tradition of Bachelor franchise
and
that has
Bachelor
given us good ups and
recapping.
downs.
Yes.
But at least has been fairly honest through the process.
Yes.
This feels wrong.
It's not honest.
It's not honest. It's insulting our intelligence.
Yes.
Our intelligence has already been battered to death.
Yeah, they are. I'm trying to think of what they're doing exactly. They're not working with what they have. No. What they have is this type of personality. It's not Grant's fault. They have a certain kind of personality. He can't fake it. That's a good thing. So make him not have to fake it.
Yeah. You know what? If the last whole 2 episodes is just one person, I would much rather that than have one person who's 100% going home.
Yes.
And
watch him try to act. He's not an actor.
No.
Nor is she, to be honest.
Let the romance take its course. Just let it happen. Let it breathe.
Oh my God. Okay, so we keep being told how much they have in common, how similar they are, how he can see a future with her. But I wrote there is no light behind his eyes when he talks to her. Oh, we're just being told how there's something there. Okay, moving on. Finally, Litia. Thank God.
Thank God.
Because Litia... there is light behind his eyes with Litia.
Yeah.
Litia chats with Katie Bigger from Zach's season, the winner.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is symbolic that she's chatting with the winner. Meanwhile, Juliana was chatting with a runner-up.
Or is it a reverse psychology?
Psych.
Yeah.
So Katie, I think, was cherry-picked for this occasion because of what she went through with Zach and how Zach volunteered that he had slept with. Oh my God, I forgot about that until she reminded us.
Yeah.
I like that she wasn't afraid to just sort of be like, what the hell was he thinking?
Yeah.
Even after a couple of years.
Yeah, he'll never live that down.
No, nor should he. The advice from Katie here is to make sure that Grant doesn't tell Litia anything that happened with other women. Is that even so? The advice is to prevent a man from telling you shit you don't want to hear.
Kiss and tell.
Litia talks about how she sometimes questions how validating Grant is towards her. And Katie, I thought this was interesting. This was, to me, Katie was great.
Yeah.
Canadian.
I like Katie. Canadian.
I'm feeling extra patriotic being back on home turf.
Yeah, we've had I'd say Canada is solid.
It's a good
solid operation they run here.
It's a good situation.
I got no notes. Zero notes.
Notes. Wow.
Yeah, except that drivers do take out their passive aggression on you when you're on the road. Yeah.
Canadians are super polite in person, but in cars,
all their rage comes out in the car. That's it. Everything else, really nice.
They're totally different people. And I got to say, I was raised in a family like that too. Yeah. Not my mother, but my father. He will get road rage. Yeah. And he's not a rageful person.
No,
he's a total
I'm
softie.
telling you, all the Canadian, just the buried rage comes out right behind that steering wheel.
Katie's advice to Litia is to trust what Grant tells her. Focus on the relationship, not the situation. I thought this was the best one of these. Mm-hmm. It felt like they were on the same wavelength. Yeah. I felt like they had something to talk about.
I've always felt, ironically, because on night one, I thought she was kind of a sideshow, but I always felt that Litia and Grant had the only connection that I really was interested in.
You always felt so since episode 2, you felt. No, but I agree with you. I mean, could we have been more wrong about Litia?
We were so wrong.
You know what it was? What we misread about Litia? It's the Mormonism.
Yeah. Also, she was super nervous, I think, on night one.
Yeah, but she had this sort of wide-eyed. There's kind of
I'm part of a thing that you're not familiar with.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
I'm part of an other thing.
Yes,
exactly. And she gave that air. It was like, I'm here and you're there. And we saw that as just weird.
Yes.
But it turns out she's lovely.
Absolutely
and she's probably going to win.
Yeah, totally. And I'm thrilled to be wrong about it. But yeah, she had something about her that I was like, oh, I don't know what that is.
Yes.
And so my
And now we
default,
know.
and this is, we can eat our words, we're happy to, and let's learn, let's grow and learn
we're
from this,
growing.
Andy, is that she's I think just Mormon.
Yeah. She's a Mormon.
And absolutely lovely.
Lovely.
And we've gotten more feedback from Mormons. Shall
Got
we
a
talk
lot of
about
Mormon
Mormonism?
feedback.
Our Mormon Shandies have given us more intel. I love how much I've learned about Mormonism throughout this season, actually. And you know, Litia is making a great
She's good.
impression.
Good poster child
If
for
I were
Mormonism.
Mormon, I would be like, that's right.
That's who we want.
You get it, girl.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because usually I feel like they're kind of misrepresented. I would
Yes.
be upset with what is mostly out there.
She's doing them good.
Andy, do you want to tell our Mormon Shandies what they are called now?
Shoremans.
You are now our Shoremans. And they informed us that the secret lives of Mormon wives is indeed BS. And
Not
that these
surprised.
people are not actually
It's
Mormon.
it's so exploitative. I almost feel like, I don't know if the Mormon church is like an incorporated business or something, but I
Yeah.
almost feel like they could sue them.
Yeah,
Like,
for the use of
slander.
the word.
It's ridiculous.
I agree. Okay, so Litia has her overnight date now. They go ziplining. The one bit of interest here is that Litia is not one for, as she puts it, adventure.
I love it. Just rules out the whole thing. No adventure of any kind.
But Andy, you said, honestly, I find ziplining to be the most work for the least fun out of anything.
Zip lining is the most overrated. Just not. I've ziplined several places, beautiful places, high places, scary looking zipline companies, good, well run zipline companies.
Yeah.
It's all BS. Wasted time. Don't ever zip line.
So I've actually, I don't think
Unless you have a very low bar for excitement. If your excitement for you is like putting salt on eggs, then zip line.
So the point being, it's a lot of work to get back to the top to then go back down
you
again.
get back and you
How
get
do you
in,
get back?
you have to
get
get all
a
strapped in,
drive?
and then you have to go through the tutorial. This is there's nothing I hate more than a vacation tutorial about something you don't need a tutorial about. The guy's going to strap you in and do all this stuff, and you need to know about all this stuff about ziplining, the history of ziplining, who founded ziplining, what the straps are made out of, what direction to face when you're ziplining down a wire. Just put me in the thing, let me go, get this over with, and let me get on to the next shitty adventure I'm doing.
I gotta say, this is something I'm realizing about you. And I realized we did an escape room last night here, which, by the way, was excellent. Excellent escape room
I'll tell
here
you,
in Whistler.
Whistler's on top of their
Like
game.
shockingly good escape room.
Yeah.
But while he was like, okay, you're clearly he was like, you're clearly experienced.
This is the game guy, the guy at the escape room, right?
We apparently seem experienced when we go to escape room places.
we are.
But he was like, but I still have to give you the rules anyway. And I could feel your energy shift. Like you were like, like you don't like being told not to use excessive force. You don't like being told not to touch the things with the sticker on them. You don't like the instruction part of any activity. If you've done, even if you haven't done it before, you don't like
it. If my life is in danger, if I don't know specific rules about something, I want to hear them.
Yeah.
If my life is in no way in danger and no one else's life is in danger, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Just put me in, you know what you're doing, and push me.
Yeah, but you're an intelligent, critical thinking, man who has lived life. Yeah. Okay. I think that there are a lot of people out there who maybe do need some instruction. It's like when we go to those escape rooms and they're like, please don't eat the magnets. And they're like, we have to tell you these things because
can I be honest
it's been
with you?
done before. Someone has eaten a magnet.
I'm not that offended by the escape room tutorials.
Okay.
I think they're fine.
Okay.
I was specifically talking about zip lining.
Okay.
And then what about the snorkeling tutorial we had to sit through when we went to Mexico?
Yeah.
How would that take 20 minutes to explain how to snorkel?
Okay. We were observing here during ziplining how funny it is on this show, how even when it's clear the people don't seem to enjoy it that much, they still have to continue to do the activity for a certain amount of time. Like Litia, you know how usually on this show the person like comes around? They're like, oh, I got into it. Let's go again. Like, actually, I loved it. Oh, we faced our fear together. Oh, falling in love is like ziplining. But in this case, I felt like Litia never found it fun, but she had to keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah. Her face just kept getting less fun looking.
Okay, so now they chat by a cenote.
Cenotes.
Yes.
We love those cenotes. We've talked a lot about cenotes.
That was a spectacular.
Amazing.
That was a Dominican Republic flight booking.
Yes, that was
inspiring
an
cenote.
A++ cenote. And all those cenotes, you know why they're there? Do you know this? Come on, from a previous episode.
You've told me, but I don't know if I remember.
The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs and is the reason why we exist fell in that area. It's the Chicxulub area. And that Chicxulub crater created limestone, basically limestone collapses all over the rim of the crater. And all over the rim of that crater are these pools of water that are a result of those limestone collapses from the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. And that was the primary source of fresh water for as long as humans had existed there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Andy.
I've been a big fan of that asteroid for a long time. So I know a lot of ancillary asteroid knowledge.
Here, Litia reveals that she would be willing to leave Utah. Were you surprised by this?
This is a mutiny.
I have to admit I wasn't surprised by this because I feel like everything coming from Litia's family and just Litia's story, it actually doesn't match Litia because Litia, I think, is like has a chill energy. Yeah. But as I said 2 weeks ago in Hometowns, I feel like her family is like, oh, yeah, you don't need to be Mormon. Oh, yeah, like kids yesterday, that kind of thing. It's like whatever you need. You just, as long as you love God, that's good. You like God.
Yeah, sure.
And then even this, I sort of feel like anything that could turn him off, it's like, no, it's fine. That's how it feels to me.
Right. And you think she's leaving that log cabin for Grant?
Okay, so now Grant mentions his father is in rehab in New Jersey and that requires support. And she wonders if they could live in New York. Look, I have no issue with this. That's the vibe I'm getting from Litia's family. It's not really Litia. It's like the whole
whatever it takes, we'll get this done.
Yeah, it feels, which I get. I get if it's a relationship, you want to make it work, compromise, blah, blah, blah. But I want to take away from Litia the piece of her feeling urgency to start a family as soon as possible. Because I think that color, it changes Litia's vibe for me on the season and just as a person. And I don't know if that's really who she is. You know
Can we be honest here? Do we know who anyone is on this season?
No. I confess, there was a point in this episode where I literally forgot Juliana's name. I don't feel like I know anyone that well.
I don't know anyone. The only people I think I know a little are Alex and Carolina.
Okay, so now it's the evening. Grant asks Litia about her timeline for becoming a mother because he knows how important this is to her. She says she's 31, ideally 2 years. But of course, the relationship is number one, building a good foundation.
All right.
She straight up says she doesn't want to hear about how things went with other women. And he gives her the fantasy suite card. She says sex is not on the table. And he not only...
So is she sex anywhere except the table? You see? You see that? See that?
He says he respects that. He likes the ground she stands on. I really liked this expression.
Yeah.
I liked this.
Yeah, me too.
I like the ground you stand on. I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
That's good. Feels Mormon. It does. It's like an 1800s Mormon thing to say.
He now says he loves her.
No. There you go.
So not only is it not a turnoff, maybe you're right, Andy. Maybe he's not having sex. Not only is he cool with her not having sex in the fantasy suite, he loves her for it. He says he loves her here. That's his response.
I think it's Litia. I think it's the only one that he loves. And I think that Grant made a decision to not have sex with anyone. Those are my three theories. I gotta say though,
that seems like the kind of thing you would advertise.
I don't.
If you're a bachelor,
I think
you're telling me you're not going to be like, I'm not like.
You know what? I'll tell you something about Grant. Grant is cool enough, and I know that's sort of an arbitrary term, but I'm using it. Whatever you interpret it how you like.
Okay.
He's cool enough to know that that's uncool to say, and if he's going to do it, he's just going to do it. For Zachy, the no sex week. That was a bad play. It was just stupid.
I forget what happened there. He said he wasn't going to have sex.
He wasn't going to have sex. No sex week. Yeah, and then he had sex, and then he told Katie. It was like, great.
What a disaster.
Bravo. But Grant is not the kind of guy who's like, I'm not going to have sex this week. He's just like, I've chosen. I'm not going to have sex. I don't want to announce that. He's a cool guy. You know, I can see what regardless of what this show has been. He's a cool guy.
Here's the thing about Grant is I don't even feel like I knew Grant was really that religious. Like it turns out that he's, he said he spoke to God when he was like young and eating dinner alone in his bedroom, that sort of thing. And this only comes out when he's expressly asked about religion by Litia. But he wasn't really like leading with that the way a lot of people do, especially on this show.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's more religious in how that like translates into physical intimacy than we believe, but he just doesn't feel the need to advertise it.
He doesn't feel the need to advertise much of anything, which is a problem. That's the problem. So yes, it's good. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut, right? Like it's good that he doesn't advertise some things, but he doesn't advertise anything.
Okay, so they go to the fantasy suite with no physical intimacy, and in a voiceover, Grant says Litia's a once-in-a-lifetime woman to him.
Oh.
And now it's the next morning, and I wrote, Litia is absolutely stunning without makeup on and with her hair back. I mean, she's always beautiful.
And I love that she just let it be.
Yes.
She's like, I don't need to wake up completely made up.
Yes. You know what Litia has? Confidence.
Yes, she does.
That is, I would say, a big difference between her and... I know Juliana has confidence in some ways, but I do get... I think Juliana has more growing up to do with like self-esteem. While Litia has a quiet... I don't know. It's just like inherent. It's who
inherently
she is.
Confident.
Yes.
Yeah. She walks through the world feeling that the universe is on her side.
Yes. And Juliana, meanwhile, it feels like has been kind of
she's worried.
battered.
She's nervous about what the universe has in store for her.
Okay, I have a question on you. Do you walk through life thinking the universe is on your side?
No, I think the universe is a constant enemy that I'm fighting off every minute.
And what about me?
I think you think the universe is on your side.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're prey.
I'm prey, yes.
I've been telling Andy he has prey energy and he needs to be more of a predator in life.
If I was an animal, I'd be like a rabbit or some small woodland animal. It's always scurrying. Like see something, it's like everything's fast. Like.
You do have a good fast twitch situation.
Yeah. I've always been a good fleer. Ever since I was a little kid, I could sprint. I could out sprint almost anybody.
Oh.
If it's short distance of an escape distance, no one could beat me. A car can't beat me. Long distance, forget about it. I got nothing.
Oh yeah.
But if it's a flea,
that's a special.
If I have to run from here to a tree to climb up a tree, no one beats me. Okay. Factor in your fridge. Factor in your mouth. Factor on your face. Because Factor's so good that you eat it like a slob.
Factor on your face.
And all over your face.
Wow. Yeah. Andy, I liked that one. Factor is delicious. We've said before that it has the restaurant taste. And what makes Factor so convenient in your life is that it is fresh, never frozen food meals. Chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals delivered directly to your door. So you get to eat healthy. You make smart decisions. You can even filter what you order based on whatever diet you are abiding by. So let's say you are keto or you are vegan or you want more protein in your life and they don't have that previously frozen taste.
That's the biggest thing. Yes. When you do one of these types of meals, and we've all done these in the past, a non-factor meal, they taste frozen. Like the life has been sucked out of them. Like with a needle. They've gone in, you know how they go in and they suck it out and it's gone. And what you're left with is gray.
Yes.
It's like a gray, sad day in like East Berlin, like 1952.
The green beans, they look sad.
Yeah.
If they had little faces on them, they'd be like...
Yeah, they're all sad.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Factor, those green beans are like...
Oh.
Those are some happy green beans. They're still green.
Still green.
They're not gray green.
So eat smart with Factor.
Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping.
That's code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Sharleen, we have been traveling a lot the last couple of years. Gone all over the place, all over the world.
We are a traveling podcast.
There are a few choice things that come with us everywhere.
Yes.
One of those, the Cozy Earth famous lounge pants.
Yes, they are famous. You've made them
I have made them even more famous.
Yes, you have.
I think I probably have. Right?
Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding.
Degree,
At Cozy Earth, they are known for their viscose from bamboo products. So it's not just those pants, which are amazing. And I also own those pants, by the way. You know what they are? Is they're substantial, but they're squishy soft. Usually it's either squishy soft or it's substantial. Just saying.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, oftentimes when it's substantial, it's like kind of stiff.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, you don't
absolutely
reach
right.
for it.
No one likes a stiff, substantial pant.
But Cozy Earth, what they're famous for is their bed sheets. The viscose from bamboo bed sheets. Let me tell you,
And that's one thing we don't travel with.
No,
we could.
We've
That would
thought
be
about-
excessive.
You know, we would if we were just traveling by car.
True.
Which is saying something. How many people travel with bed sheets? But that's how good these bed sheets are.
100%.
They are silky. They are soft. They are breathable so that when you're hot, they keep you cool. When you're cool, they keep you warm. I miss it. I can't wait to get home to wear bed sheets.
If you had a Cozy Earth sheet, like in ancient times, and you stood up on top of a mountain and showed people that sheet,
Yeah.
it would be the same thing as someone like standing up and predicting an eclipse right before it was going to happen. You'd be considered a god. So luxury shouldn't be out of reach.
Go to cozyearth.com/Shandy and use code Shandy to get up to 40% off Cozy Earth's best-selling sheets, towels, pajamas, and more.
CozyEarth.com/Shandy.
And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to let them know that we, Dear Shandy, sent you. Okay, so it's the morning and they are eating breakfast. Andy, you were the most interested in the breakfast, actually. Even
Excellent
this joke,
breakfast.
oh my God, Grant's like, I made it myself.
Yeah, you know, I gotta give it to him. Whatever. Cares.
As they part ways, Grant in his ITM realizes he's in deep doo-doo.
Ah, the deepest of doo-doo.
Because he's like, wait a minute. I told Litia I love her, and I meant it when I said it. It's true, I do love her,
No
but
taking that back.
I also think I might love someone else.
He's falling for and maybe veering into I love.
Oh, yes.
That's what I think he said.
So now we have a rose ceremony. I mean, this is the least surprising. We've been calling this ever since Zoe got a hometown. She is sent home. She has a hell of a poker face, I've got to say. But I think it's partly because she wasn't upset.
She saw it coming.
She saw
She
it coming.
wanted to be strong. She was like, I'm not going to show weakness here. You know, she said that.
Yeah.
She said it herself that she
says the tough exterior.
Too tough on the outside. But yeah, it's not a surprising reaction. She's like, I know this is coming. I'm not going to look upset. And that's the end of it.
I'm going to say something about Zoe. So as someone who didn't care for Zoe in the beginning and now has come to understand her and even like her, I think Zoe's tough exterior is kind of a point of pride for her.
Yeah.
And certainly it's a reflection of her pride, right? But I actually think it holds her back. And I say this as someone who relates to her, but with perfectionism.
I agree.
I have like a weird, sick pride about my perfectionism. However, it 100% prevents me from living life as well and as like fulfillingly as I could.
No, Zoe is Zoe's worst enemy. And I actually like Zoe.
Yeah, me too.
I think Zoe's lovely. I just think Zoe needs to work on stepping out of Zoe's way.
Yeah, and I think she has created an identity around having this tough exterior.
Yeah.
Like the fact, like she has absolutely no expression, right? Zero. And then she gets in the car and she starts to like cry a little bit, but it's still just like, I wrote, she has mastered the professional smile. She's got this.
Oh yeah, the pursed lip smile.
She's got the terse, slightly nose flared smile. And then she says, one of the first things she says is, the tough exterior is there for a reason, referring to herself.
Yeah, she's had some
It's
rough
like,
times.
Yeah, what would happen if you just shed that and just let yourself
so it's
feel
easier,
what it is
easier
you're feeling?
said than
I know,
done.
of course.
She's got a lifetime of traumas that have put those walls in place.
Totally.
Same thing with Grant.
No, and I like when I talk about the perfectionism stuff, like it sounds light, it sounds fluffy when I talk about my perfectionism being a problem or like the control, but it's actually, this is something that will take me a lifetime to overcome. It's not easy, and so I don't say this. I don't mean to sound like I think it is.
It's next to impossible. It's like telling someone to drop their walls and whose walls were created by like many years or decades of traumas.
Yes.
It's like telling someone, just get rid of your leg. Your left leg, you walk with one leg from now on.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
That reminds me of that cute 3-legged chihuahua we saw in the park.
3-legged dogs are the best. I mean, not that I encourage it. I'm just saying that when I see a 3-legged dog, I just want to go up and just hug
that
it.
dog made a big impression on me because, when you see a 3-legged dog and they're doing amazing, you're like, that's incredible. And there's a saying that like, oh, when a dog loses a leg, like it doesn't even notice. It just starts running with 3 legs.
Eventually, I think it notices right away. But
but what that was, this dog's owner was like, no, it's like really recent.
Yeah.
And it was because of complications from something else.
Yeah.
And actually, she was like, and she's taking it harder than
I know.
I thought
so
she would, based on what I've always heard.
We always like to think that dogs just acclimate immediately. They're like, oh, I lost a leg. That sucks. Oh, what? Squirrel? Okay, we're good.
Yeah, but no, this dog was like having a hard time and was clearly very upset. And it hit me. I was like, no, we can't just assume that they're like, okay, it's fine now.
There's no animal on earth that needs love more than a 3-legged dog.
Oh. Dog. I'm so obsessed with dogs now.
I know. We got to tone it down. You got to tone it down. I think we're becoming those people, and we don't want to. You never want to become that person of anything, whether it be food or kids or dogs.
I'm so obsessed. Like anyone's dog, I'm like, no.
Just take
and then
it
when
down.
people do that to Ruby, I'm like, do you have a dog? And they're like, yeah. And then we talk about it. And then we show each other pictures of our dogs.
We got to tone it down.
And
we're losing
at
the
the
cat
escape
people.
room,
We're losing the cat people.
At the escape room yesterday, he was like, oh, you seem to do a lot of escape rooms. We're like, yeah, but we're really rusty. We haven't done one in a while. And I was like, yeah, we got a dog.
I was like, I don't know why that was necessary, but yeah.
It's true.
It is true, but you know what? Let's take it down a notch.
Sorry.
Let's take it down a notch.
Okay. So Litia, we have to point this out at the rose ceremony. So after Grant has taken Zoe away, Litia and Juliana hold hands and smile at each other. And I thought there was like a knowing smile exchanged here. Didn't it feel like they were like, we always knew this was going to happen?
Totally.
Andy, you said they're holding hands like it's a game show.
Yeah, I thought so. They're like, we made it.
We get the big prize.
Both of us are going to win a lot of money. Only one of us is going to win a little more. Who cares? We're winners.
You know, they
winners.
win. At this point, they've won the same amount of money.
Pretty much.
In fact, you could argue the person who gets runner-up gets more money.
I'm going to bet you right now $100 US.
Ooh.
Or 20 Canadian dollars.
We're going to get another 1-star review for that joke.
Sorry. No.
Someone literally left a 1-star review when Andy made fun of the Canadian dollar.
To leave me a 1-star review for maligning Canada, I can't even think of an analogy. It's so ridiculous.
Yes. Andy loves Canada more than anywhere on earth.
I have showered Canada with more compliments during this podcast than anything else in the world. Pizza is nothing compared to Canada.
Yes.
So don't come at me. Canada's currency is low compared to the US dollar. It's a fact. It's great. We love being in Canada even more now. And everything's free.
That's also not political commentary because it's been low for a very long time.
Low for years.
Yes.
The last time was at parity was like we were just like met almost.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, but the point is that I don't remember. I got riled up.
Canada. Oh, you bet me $100 or
I
20
will bet
Canadian
you
dollars.
100 that whoever Grant ends up with,
the joke doesn't make sense.
No, I know what I'm saying.
It's a reverse joke. It's $20 US or 100.
I know. No, this is a real fail. This is nothing. This is a disaster.
Joke flopped. Okay, make the comment though.
Whoever Grant picks, if he picks someone, over in 6 months.
What? Are you serious?
You don't think so?
That's like the only thing I'm holding on to this season is the fact that I think he is that sincere and that both of his final two are extremely sincere as well.
No, I don't think so.
Wait, what do you think's going to happen?
It's just a fizzle.
Fizzle?
Just fizzle.
Oh, I am going to bet you.
All right, let's bet.
Oh, I don't know if I want to bet 100. I don't.
Fine, let's bet 100 Canadian.
So what is that? What is that, like 70?
Like $68, yeah.
Okay. I'll bet you 100.
6 months.
6 months.
From the day that he gets down on a knee.
No, from after the final rose, from when they air the finale.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 months. If they last 6 months and 1 day, I win.
That's correct.
Okay. I am down with this because the one thing I'm holding on to this season is the fact that I think Grant, while he may not be meant to be a lead, he may not be meant to XYZ, he is 100% looking for a wife. And that is why he was cast.
I think he's looking for a wife, but that doesn't necessarily mean he gets a wife or the wife he chooses wants to be with him.
Wait, is this colored by the fact that he can't make up his mind and you think that's going to, the person he chooses is going to be upset watching the season back that he couldn't decide?
I don't buy anything. I'm nothing they're selling me this season I'm buying. Nothing.
Okay, one of the reasons I feel this way is because we've talked all season long about, not all season, but certainly the last few episodes about this great leader energy from Grant. No. Not that he gives off this energy, it's more how they receive him. Right. You know, and Carolina kind of wasn't into that, didn't play by that rule, and look what happened to her.
Yeah.
But Juliana, from the beginning, she hadn't even had a one-on-one date yet, and she's like, oh, and it's so frustrating seeing someone who's been so blessed to have time with you. And he walks into the room and they're like this. I feel like Juliana has that for him. She has this sort of like
undying loyalty.
Yes. It goes beyond just a romance. It's like an admiration.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Litia, I think it's more
of an equal.
More of an equal, but Litia that sort of vibe that I got from her family, the urgency. There's an urgency from Litia and an admiration from Juliana. And I think that those things could keep them in the relationship.
But also those things are artificial. Therefore, they could be a reason why they don't stay together. Anyway, whatever. My point is, I don't buy it. And I say 6 months, but I will caveat it with this. I am not going to root against them. No. This is not life-changing money. So I'm not going to root. I don't need the I told you so. I would rather be wrong here. I'd rather lose this bet.
Okay.
So I don't want people to think that I'm rooting for them to fail.
Okay. All right.
I just want to hedge myself. When I'm disappointed and I see they break up, I want to have something, a little bit of something to comfort me. And that's going to be 68 Canadian dollars.
68 American dollars.
Sorry. How do I get that wrong? I'm good at math.
Okay, so we move on now. This is interesting that they tacked this on at the end of this episode. Normally they don't do this. Grant's family joining him in the Dominican Republic. And he tells them about these amazing women. And we learn he's still undecided. And this is our big cliffhanger, is that he doesn't know who it's going to be. This is what we're being teased. And sometimes when we're being teased something, I'm like, oh, it's BS. That's not actually going to happen. But in this case, I think it is. Like, I think Grant legitimately doesn't know who he's picking, which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's going to be the most interesting thing about this season.
Yeah, this is a 50-50.
But this gets back to the heart of my issue with Grant as a lead is the conviction. I talked about this weeks ago. Where's the conviction that you don't care what the other women are saying about this woman? You like this woman, you're going to keep this woman. And you don't care that she said this about so-and-so. And then you like her the best because like what do you like about the woman that you like the best about her, the second best about her? Like this is something you have to do as the lead. And he doesn't have that the gut piece.
Gut feeling, yeah.
Yes. How can you not know? How can you not know who you like better? That's like, I can't wrap my mind around that.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Wow. I'm really ranty today.
Yeah, you are.
Really riled
ranty.
up.
Really,
as I'm back on home turf, I'm like myself again.
How many coffees do you have?
Only half of one.
I spilled some of it out too.
Okay. So now, Andy, that's the end of the episode. It's your A game time. Who is your winner? If you have a winner. There's no wrong answer.
I am going to give it to Zoe in defeat.
Oh.
Thought she was a class act.
I agree, and I was secretly hoping you would give it to her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
good.
Because on the surface, you could be like, oh, Zoe, we ripped this to shreds. And it wasn't Zoe we were ripping to shreds. It wasn't Grant. It's the concept that Zoe is still there that we're ripping to shreds. And I felt bad for them. You know what it's like? It's like when you see a really good actor in a really bad movie and you know that it's like not what they thought it was going to be. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
And you're like, did the script
still
change?
They still commit.
Yes. You see
they treat it like it's The Godfather.
Yes, because they're, no matter what, they're a professional actor. Yes. Yeah. And even though deep down they're like, I really regret saying yes to this movie.
I can't not do the work right.
Exactly.
They bring life to the character.
Yes.
So much so that it makes the movie worse.
You know who's the best at this? Who am I thinking of? What actor do I think is the best at this?
Oh, can you give me a hint?
He is the reason why I'm a fan of him. This is the reason I'm a fan of him.
Can you give me Brad Pitt?
No.
He doesn't do many bad movies. Can you give me a hint?
What kind of a hint?
Just like the first letter of the first name?
N.
Oh, Nick Cage.
Yes.
Well, Nick, everyone knows that.
Yes.
Nick, of course. He's a genius. He respects the craft so much.
Yes.
He could do the literal worst movie of all time, and it's no different than like Scorsese's masterpiece.
Yes.
All the time. Every time.
And what's funny about it is like, even if the movie's terrible, there's generally a thread in it that you're like, yes. Nick Cage would say yes to this movie. And even though it's probably not good, he's probably not regretting it because he's making a lot of money.
He makes the money. He makes people happy. And let me tell you something. There is not a single Nick Cage movie I have ever seen that I didn't like a little bit because of Nick Cage.
Yes.
And they are bad movies. We're talking like some of the worst movies ever made. Yeah. And he makes it watchable.
Yes. He's good.
He's a professional.
So that's how
and he's also, he loves spending money. Loves it.
Spending.
Yeah, he's bought like 10 castles. He cannot stop spending money.
Really?
He has to keep making these movies.
So he enjoys being rich.
No, he doesn't know how to stop spending money. He's got a problem. He literally has to make a bad movie every month to pay for his debts. He just can't stop spending money.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the truth.
How is this public knowledge that Nick Cage has a lot of debt?
Nick Cage bought way too many houses in way too many parts of the world and just doesn't have enough money.
Why can't he just sell some of his houses?
He can't. You can't. He's so cash poor that even if he sells a house, he has to pay off the debt on another house. It's just never ending. His accountant must be ripping their hair
I don't
out.
know if I believe this.
This is 100%
He's
true.
Nicolas Cage. We all know who. Like,
I think he's finally got himself above water. I think he's doing okay now. But there was a point for 10 years where that guy was underwater and he was desperately making movies to not go into bankruptcy.
How cool would that be to be able to be like, okay, shoot, I bought one too many mansions.
Yeah, I got to make a blockbuster.
I got to say yes to this script that I'm like maybe a little.
And I've got to be so good in it that I get hired again and again and again. Because I got to make 3 or 4 more movies to cover these debts.
It cannot be a career-ending decision that I said yes to this
movie.
And
I say yes to a script that's so bad. I'm like, this is the worst script I've ever read, and I'm still going to make this role good.
Yes.
I'm still going to do it, and I'm still going to get another job that's $10 million because I was so good in this crap movie.
Yes.
That's a good actor.
Okay, but to circle back, your A-game winner Zoe, we think she was an actor in a bad movie.
Yes.
A good actor in a bad movie.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to fashion now. I have 2 runners up. First is Grant.
Yeah, Grant. These suits, strong.
Grant dresses.
He knows how to dress.
He knows how to dress. He has an aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And at the rose ceremony, he was wearing a sort of, I wrote pale brick red or dark salmon linen suit. I didn't know. How do you describe that color? It was almost the color of meat.
It was the color of meat or salmon that's been left out a little too long.
Like dried up salmon. Yeah. Or like I said, a pale brick, a weathered, sunned on brick.
Yes.
Linen suit with these brown loafers and a brown belt. He just looked really spiffy.
Yeah.
The other look I liked was Zoe at the rose ceremony, her white cutout dress with these long, I wrote witchy sleeves. I love these sleeves. They kind of went down. They almost dragged. Like they were kind of like witchy and fun. Yeah. They looked like she should be like stirring a cauldron. And her hair was half up and like slick at the top. I thought her styling was fantastic. The only thing I didn't love was the sort of gold detail holding her dress, like the open part. I thought it was a little much. But other than this, I thought this was a really cool look. Yeah. You didn't like it.
That's fine.
You can be honest.
It just didn't hit me at a gut level. I don't know.
What didn't you like about this dress?
I was a little busy.
Okay, busy.
A little busy.
Okay. All right. I liked this. I thought it was very striking on her. But my best dressed is Litia, actually, the evening portion of her overnight date. She was wearing what I would describe as an interesting piece. It was very unique. I will give this to Litia. Her fashion is interesting.
Yeah.
Like Litia knows how to dress and she knows how to wear things that you have never seen before, ever. Yeah. The one thing she misses the mark on sometimes is styling. Like she just wears her hair down and I'm like, do more. But anyway, with this dress, it was sort of like a color block, like a pastel color block, patchwork knit dress. It was asymmetrical. There's one sleeve and it was like suddenly different textures, colors, patterns. It was unique. I wanted to know where she got it. It's not that I would necessarily want to run out and buy it for myself. It's more like I want to shop at the store that sold that dress.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I mean? I want to see what else is there. What else do they have?
Yeah.
Someone's thinking outside the box with that dress, including Litia. She is, so far the season's best dress for me. Okay, so we'll move on now, Andy, to the word watch. There were 0 knees.
Not a single knee in sight.
I'm sorry, Andy.
Yeah.
It's always more fun when there's more word watches. And our winner is Letta Jones. Congratulations. What a great prize you've won. $180 value is your prize from Graza. You get the trio of 3 different olive oils for different purposes. All single source olive oil. You get the refills and you get the dipper thingy. It's unbelievable. What a great prize.
Excellent prize. This is a prize I would want. Of all the prizes, I take this one.
So Letta, please email us by this Friday at midnight to claim your prize. And Andy, do you have a word for the finale of this season?
I do. Ooh. It's a phrase. And that phrase is amazing woman or amazing women. Either one and a usage. Okay. I don't even know the difference anymore.
Okay, so whether or not we are talking plural.
Doesn't matter.
Or singular.
Yes.
If it is pronounced in either direction.
Correct.
Okay, I like it. You're going off track here. Normally it's finger.
No, we're not doing finger. I don't feel a finger coming.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel a finger coming, but amazing Woman, I do hear it coming.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if you would like to join in the Shandy Word Watch fun and have a chance to win a prize, then you can guess the number of times you predict the words amazing woman or amazing women will be uttered in the finale of Grant's season. You will do so by using the numeral of the number of times you think it'll be uttered, and you will do so by commenting either below this YouTube video that you are watching right now, or if you were listening with audio and you don't go to YouTube, then you will enter your guess on the reel. On the real advertising,
they did it to us.
The
Instagram
recap you're listening
to.
Yes,
Yeah,
there's got to be a better system for this. But Instagram, I'm still, I talked about a perfection. I'm a
let go of control.
recovering perfectionist.
Let go. Doesn't feel good. Just let go. Reels instead of static posts.
It does feel good, but it's also like it hurts. It causes me a pain. Like I spent 4.5 years making these like thumbnails, these intricate thumbnails, only to learn it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
And I have to force.
Isn't that what all life is like?
I still have a compulsion to keep making them. I'm
but
I was like, the Instagram would look prettier if there were thumbnails.
Yeah, but it's not about the end result. It's about the love, the passion.
Yes.
If you do anything with love or passion, it doesn't matter what comes of it. It's all about love.
You're right.
All we have is love.
Okay, so you comment on the reel advertising this recap. If you guess correctly, you will be entered in a draw and one name will be plucked and that person will win. We're back to our old faithful prize. I love this one. $100 to spend at Ferrano Studio. Literally every ring I'm wearing. Oh, and my necklace.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this is a cool necklace. Look.
It's a very cool
I can't
necklace.
decide.
Is it
gold or is it pearl?
We don't know.
Yeah, her stuff is so cute. So $100 in cute jewelry. If you guess correctly, and win. You gotta win.
Yeah, winning is important.
Okay, Andy, finally our predictions.
Litia.
You think Litia's winning?
Yeah. I've always thought that. I mean, except for night one.
I see why you think that. Okay, here's the reason I think it's Juliana. Okay, and I say this with like a lot of complicated feelings because I really like Litia, and I like Litia for Grant.
I do too.
But I think Litia is more of a nurturer for Grant, meaning like the way learning that he ate dinner alone made her cry, and she wants to provide him with that family. She's like a place of comfort for him. You know, when he danced with her, he's like a little boy with Litia.
Yeah.
But unlike some men out there who I think want to marry their mother, and not to say that's who Litia is or who she'd become, but I think there's more of a nurturing energy. I think, meanwhile, Juliana is a damsel.
Yes.
And if there's one thing we've learned about Grant, he loves a damsel.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think that when Juliana talked about being broken and she's still trying to learn how to fix herself, and he's like, you don't need to be fixed. All you need is love. Like, I think that Grant is a knight in shining armor guy, and I think that he wants to rescue Juliana.
This is a very, very strong point, and I think that with Litia, there's nothing to fix.
Yes.
And that might be a problem. I agree. But I do think the love is stronger with Litia. I think there might be a little more passion with Juliana, but I think the love is with Litia. But I think you make a great point.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with Litia.
Okay. All right. I think
months.
it's always the most interesting when we disagree for 6 months. This is the biggest bet we've ever made.
It's a big bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to reiterate. I want nothing more than to see in 30 years a picture of Grant and Litia, like with canes.
Okay.
But I just want to have
photos of them eating dinner as a family.
Yeah, like Harry Met Sally. I just want to, I want to see him fully. I want to see Grant fully become a Mormon. I want to see Grant like just full blown Mormon.
Yeah, we're not even talking. Honestly, the Mormon piece isn't even the reason I don't think it's Litia. I thought so before, but I think I'm onto something. I think
Grant's almost intrigued by Mormonism.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's a turn off.
If there's one thing I believe about Grant, it's that he wants to be a part of something.
Yeah.
Grant wants to be a part of a family, he wants to belong.
That's another great point. What better family? You're making some good points. I mean, I'm getting swayed a little here, but what better a family to receive you than a Mormon family? What better? Yeah. I want to be received by a Mormon family.
Yeah. But then he can't, what was it, have fun anymore?
Yeah, no
he
fun.
was like, I like to have fun though.
Coke Zero? I don't know.
Okay, Eddie, that is a wrap for this recap.
Okay.
If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok.
Leave us Apple and
Spotify.
Podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends, the friends who are, still watching The Bachelor. and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Ooh. Okay. It's Ruby time. Ruby likes Whistler. Ruby. Oh.
Oh, she's all, look at her.
Oh.
Hi, Ruby. Oh.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.